Yeah, highlight.
Damn, Melissa.
Don't forget the real though. Yeah. I bet you won't turn me up. What's that you bumping? It ain't vibing hard enough. No. Check my playlist, guaranteed you ain't hit top. From the indies to the mainstream, bringing all the stuff. Music talks for Dwayne and Janean. Run it up. Run it. Pass that ox. Hey, Bobby, back on the scene, Dwayne and Janean. I'm bringing the facts, they know what I mean. Music comparisons, yeah, it's embarrassing. Up in the Ford, I feel like I'm Harrison. Back on the fast track, Mighty and Morphin, my name's Zach.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what's happening? Man, feel like it's been a little minute. Feel like it's been 30 years almost, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I ain't seen y'all in a minute, bro. What's happening? What's up? Welcome.
That's what smoking will do to you, man. It make 5 minutes seem like an hour, or it make an hour seem like 5 minutes, and then you late to the podcast.
Dang, you know what I'm saying? Hey, glasses off, no high tips here, man. Only high tips when we soaring up high. Nonetheless, it's your boy, your favorite neighborhood mediator. You already know what your man is. Your boy, DWAYNE. You know, already know what it is. D-Dub, some call me. Dwayne Wade. You already know, man, of many names. Oh, yeah, and a guy named Highlight Real too. What is happening? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy. We in the building. And of course, you already know, joined by my once so also lovely, true, one and only, most beautiful. Well, you already know it. I alley-oop it to her and let her finish the rest because she can do it.
What's good, everybody? It's your girl Janean. Yeah, turn up. It's your girl Janean, aka the Queen of Classic, Bougie Thuggin'. Here yet another episode.
No.
Hey, yeah. Boop, 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 boop.
Yes, sir. It's going down in this thing.
Yes.
Yo, that shit had me fucking scared. I thought we had to walk out in a single file line for a second.
I already know what it is, bro. People, the many sound effects up in this thing. Go ahead, Queen Class. Yeah,
all right, so I know y'all hear a third voice, an unfamiliar voice, but it won't be unfamiliar for far too long. We have another Northside All-Star, Northside representative, somebody that's been an advocate for Black and Brown relations since forever and a day ago. Super suave, my good friend, artist Fresco Phillipe, but I know him as Philippe. Welcome to the show.
What's up? How's it going?
We're so happy to have you on. Thank you for making time for us. We appreciate it.
I am happy to be here. I'm always happy to have a chat with an old friend.
For sure.
Welcome. This is the land of oxes, where we pass oxes around to tell people about the vibes of music, the styles, the history, and so much more, people. You never know what you're going to get on this very show, but you have to give it to the rest of the world. Again, we've been MIA from you guys. We are so sorry. Sometimes you take a little break from things. Sometimes you get a little too busy. But you're back. We're back.
We bake. We bake, baby.
For you, we missed you guys. Hope y'all missed us. I know you missed us. Oh, good. So, without further ado, y'all already know what time it is. This is the part of the show where we go ahead and say, what's in your ears?
What's in your ears? Well, an artist by the name of Highlight Reel dropped a project that I am in love with, entitled God. Shout out to Dwayne for putting out another project.
Yes. Thank you.
You're also you're so humble, but we're gonna give you your flowers.
Thank you guys. I do appreciate it. I mean, flowers are always appreciated. You know, I like to give it to the people. Y'all deserve the flowers, man, because you guys make the artistes. And when you guys like what the artists put out, well, hey, it's just a party from there. You know what I'm saying? Because as our Miss Erica Badu say, we an artist and we sensitive about our ish. And you know what? when it comes out and the people love it, thank y'all. Thank y'all. But yes, what else been listening to, Miss Janine? What's been going
I've
on?
still been listening to Givian a lot. I just can't get off of his vibe. If you have not checked out Givian yet, please do because you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Um, I was listening to Alicia Keys the other day. I don't know what put it in my spirit to listen to her, but I think that I forgot just how amazing her voice is and how talented she is and how she had some singles for us. So I was listening to her. I was also listening to King Von a lot these past couple of weeks, and sadly today found out that he was fatally shot. So, rest in peace to that a young man, 26 years old. Sad, but I was listening to him and found out today that he's no longer with us.
Wow. Rest in peace, indeed. My goodness. Well, of course, let's alley oop this thing over to our guest of the evening and let's see what he's been vibing to this week. Sir, Mr. Fresco, Mr. Felipe, sir,
What's going on?
what's going on?
So actually, I've been listening to Smino. He's got a tape on SoundCloud called "She Already Decided." And it's pretty much been my go-to. Like every time I spark up, every time like I'm trying to like catch a vibe. Like I guess for a while now, for the last few weeks. And shouts to my brother. My brother put me on to it. And I've been fucking with him a lot. And then Made in Tokyo had a project come out too that I've been bumping. Uh, I guess it's been out for like 2 or 3 days. So the last like 3 days, or it could have been longer than that. I lose track of my days.
Don't we all? It's all right,
Time
man.
is an opinion.
Voice for no man at
Right.
all.
Yeah, but it's dope. J Balvin has a track on that album that's actually dope as hell. And it's cool because like you see a lot of the mainstream collabs with Latin artists and like hip hop artists, but like Made in Tokyo is like a little bit more of like a eclectic collab, I guess you could
Okay.
say, for an artist like J Balvin. But the track that they have together on that album, like Rides, it's like really dope. And it actually inspired me to make the favorite like my favorite song on the mixtape that I'm dropping. Uh yeah, so it inspired me to make like a started I guess diving more into Spanish music because I felt like before I was limited to Spanish type music, and I was like I like Spanish type music, but I much prefer like stuff that I listened to growing up, or like stuff that I listen to now, which is mostly like rap and hip hop. So it's like so I was like, damn, like I want to do shit in Spanish, but like I like this style so much better, and I feel like I like ride on beats like this so much better. And then to like hear that like I could do that with the beats that I like I think it just like really like open my like possibilities up, I guess.
Yeah,
So like that shit was an inspiration, and like the first song I made, uh, like just with that inspiration is like my favorite song that I've ever made so far. So that
that's
shit
fire.
that's just pretty cool.
I was actually going to ask you, you have a track on SoundCloud called Abstract, and
Oh
at the
yeah,
end definitely pulled into the Spanish sounds. And
yeah,
I love it like the same way that I like when I hear rappers tap into their like reggae vibe, like
oh
they're getting in
yeah,
touch with their culture or whatever. So I was
yeah.
gonna ask on this mixtape, are you gonna do more of those type of things, or are you gonna like dedicate a separate project to kind of leaning into that sound?
So this first project that I'm doing, for me, it kind of serves as like a showcase. Like I
Okay.
want to have like my first project out to kind of say like this is what I can do. this is my range of things that I can do, and it's kind of like a resume that you present, you know. So I want to be able to show people, because I'm still at the stage where nobody's listening to me just because like I dropped something, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm showing this to people in certain situations. So I want to have something that like different people can like listen to and fuck with. So I like I've got songs on there that are straight like hip hop, rap type songs. I have songs that are like Spanish. Like I have a reggaeton song on there. I have I have that song I was telling you about that has like a Mexican sample on it and stuff like that, but I'm rapping in English and Spanish. So I'm pretty sure from now on everything's gonna have at least a little bit of both in it. Like even when I'm rapping in Spanish, I'm like rhyming with English words and shit just with the Spanish accent sometimes. So like I don't know, man. I just like I speak half the time that I'm speaking in Spanish, but then the music that I was making was only in English. So this just gives me a whole new like range of things to talk about and like different ways to like word things and shit like that. So it's dope, man. It's really like I felt like it opened up my creativity.
That's lit.
Love it, man. Love it. Creativity is always an amazing thing to open up. You know, get the gates flooding. You know what I mean? Just be like, hey, let's flow, people. Let's flow. Open it up.
Yes, sir.
So, oh well, fam. I mean,
What have you
boy,
been listening to? What's been in your ears?
it's been in your boys' ears, man. Wow. Well, for starters, in the beginning of today, I was actually
Drake.
checking out my Memphian, one of my Memphis brothers, and I want to shout out NLE Chopper for
Mm,
dropping a project today, and I was checking out Darkness to Light, and you can tell, he hit his 18th birthday, so he was dropping a project for his fans and just showcasing his growth, his maturity, and literally, he has some songs. He got a really dope song with Big Sean that you guys should check out. That Big Sean absolutely killed his verse on that, man. I felt like that was great, phenomenal job. Big Sean's Big Sean. You don't expect any less when he hops on.
mm,
But man, it was really a killer collab. But also just a song, the first song that I believe he had on there, and I have to double check to make sure I got that right. But the first song that he had on there was actually really dope because again, it just showcased his growth and the fact that he's maturing. Bryson is what he has it called, and I'm gonna assume that's likely part of his first name, his true name, but Bryson is definitely a pretty popular track. Another track was called Moonlight, and just like I said, he's got a couple, so I had to check him out, and I normally don't get into too much street style rap, get along street style rap mixed with mumble rap because like I have to be in the mood for mumble rap sometimes, and then street rap again. Like I said, even with being from Memphis, a lot of times it's just kind of like never been my full thing, just because I don't completely relate to it always. But then still just sitting there listening to it, man. Both again supporting the Memphian, a native Memphian doing his thing out here in the streets, but then also to see and hear his progress just at 18 says that the
right,
future's
so
bright for
young.
him. It's like, yeah, man, can't wait to see how he continues to evolve as an artist. So shout out to NLE Chopper. Of course, definitely our guest of the evening, definitely was checking out, Mr. Fresco and
Hey,
songs like Misunderstood, loving the vibe and the instant ride feels that gave. You know what I'm saying? Today was a beautiful day in GA, so you already know it's windows rolled down, top lit
Yes.
back,
yes.
Misunderstood playing as you're cruising, and you're like, hey, this is a vibe. You know what I mean?
Vibes.
I rock with this.
Yeah, that's funny because that's the exact vibe that I was going for.
Yeah,
So that's dope.
look, it fitted totally down to a T, and MCM was another one that was pretty interesting to listen to, man. For sure. So shouts out to the artists, for always just coming out with creativity. And yeah, man, and I just checked out quite a few things. Oh, and we'll get into this in the history part of the show. But nonetheless, I found myself going back and listening to Good Kid, Mad City, and
Lit.
yes, like I said, I'll go into more detail about that album in terms of our history portion. But nonetheless, that definitely took me on a journey for a sec. Going back and really listening to that album in full, I didn't realize some things that I realized when I went back and listened to it.
I didn't
We'll
realize.
get into that a little later, and then of course, I guess again, my co-host knows how humble I am, but yes, your boy dropped the final installation of his three-part EP series. God was the final piece of what was left. Ladies and gentlemen, periodically, those who have been regular listeners, you guys have known that way back in May, we had Me, which was the first drop, and then, of course, myself coming out back in July, I believe that was. And then, of course, this is the final installment, which was God. And so it's been getting a very positive reception. It had a slight delay in its release. It was supposed to be the 30th of October, and it delayed a little bit. But when it finally came out, I was happy that the world got to hear it. And again, the reception for you guys, from you guys, has been amazing. And I mean, goodness, Apple Music is showing me that you guys are really rocking with the kid, because when you see those
Yeah.
stars play, you're like, wow, this literally just came out and it's already got stars on tracks. So it's like, wow, okay, y'all rocking with it. So I want to salute everybody. And like I said, man, this was actually my final project for the year. I do have a lot of stuff in store for y'all, so don't fear, don't worry, don't get sad. I'm gonna focus on a few visuals probably, and try to see if I can get some visuals going on with to give you guys before the end of the year if possible. But definitely finishing up an album that's going to come out early May of next year, and some other things, some singles in between and all things like that. Maybe another EP or two in there as well. But like I said, y'all stay tuned. More coming. In the meantime, y'all keep rocking with your boy. I appreciate y'all. I salute y'all. And yeah, me, myself, and God, man. Feel free to listen to those all three in full. They are all out now. You can see all three sequels, and hey, let your boy know which one's your favorite. I guess let me know which one's your favorite if y'all got a favorite. All right, shout
I
us
thought I thought that I had one. Then when the next song came out, I was like, no, this is the one. The
out.
next song came out, I was like, no, this is the one. Shout out to Chosen. That song you and Chosen did together.
Yes.
That energy, man, is something serious.
Yes, that is my brother. Salute to Chosen. I love you, brother. It is always magic when me and him get together on songs. I just and I'm here with Atlanta natives. I'm partial Atlanta. I'm not completely 100% full blooded Atlanta, but for the most part, I've lived here long enough to definitely call myself an ATLian, adapted. Adopted, as my co-host has greatly embraced me with the city. And but Chosen, man, I'm glad you related to that, because that was a true Atlanta track. I mean, Chosen is
Yeah.
Atlanta to a T, straight out of, I believe, Clayco, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
So
Clayco is why Georgia. Never
yeah,
mind. We
that
can
was
talk
that
about that later.
Clayco representing that you heard on that. So me and my boy,
It's where you. It's where you did
yeah,
what?
We'll talk about
yeah,
it later. It's
we
fine.
can talk about, look, see, but yeah, man. That being said, but like I said, threw a little neo soul in there for a week as well, and it's just been overall, it's been a real vibey type of week though, man. So, you know, been in the vibes a lot this week.
Dope that now with like an Apple Music or a Tidal or Spotify, like you can listen to whatever your vibe is that day. Like you're not limited to what's playing on the radio or what you had time to torrent and download. Like everything is at your fingertips. So like, you can go back to something. Like I was listening to like songs from like the 50s and 60s a couple weeks ago. It's
Yeah.
just
Come
so
on.
it's just so accessible.
I was actually thinking about like what that means for like artists that like pretty much like all the music that's ever been made is now like,
Streamable.
excuse me, it's available.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so much music that people have like yet to discover
Hmm.
that's so good from like as long as music has been recorded. And then yet every day you have more and more artists putting out more and more music. Like it gets so much harder to create something that people want to listen to because they have everything, you know. So I was actually thinking about that today. It's like, so like what's the formula? Like how do you get heard, or like how do you create something? And it really just comes down to like making shit that's like different. Like it has to be different. Otherwise you don't even like get a second listen, because there's so many people doing the same thing. And like I feel like just people in general, like we go into cycles where it's like it gets really poppy and everybody's listening to the same thing, and then like everybody gets tired of it and they're looking for like new shit and like weird shit, and that's when you have like weird eras in music and like experimental, and then like the cycle continues.
Come on, man. I love it. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much what we've been vibing to. That's been what's in our ears. Of course, if you're out there and you're listening, we would love to hear your comments. Y'all already know, y'all know how we do. Y'all fam, we fam. We this is what we do. We converse. So y'all already know. We want to hear from y'all, man. What y'all been vibing to this week? Who been in y'all ears? You know what I'm saying? What genres? All that good stuff, man. We wants to know and hear from y'all. All right, so make sure y'all leaving in those comments if you listening, watching it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. Make sure y'all let us know who y'all vibing to. We're gonna try to shout y'all out on the next episode. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. You know what I mean? So, in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk a little history, man, because we ain't been with y'all for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's been a little minute. So it's a lot of history musically. And I would like to shout out OTS guys on Instagram, OTS on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to OTS, because OTS is the very platform that is always bringing you historic facts. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about some key artists. We're gonna talk about some key artists and anniversaries, if you will, of certain projects. So let's start with the most recent that actually has been posted. Uh, 24 years, y'all. It has been 24 years since Tupac. That's right, Tupac released the Don Kill Illuminati, the 7 Day Theory. 2 months after his death. It has been 24 years since
That's
this very
wild.
project. Isn't it crazy, y'all? 24 years. Just imagine. That's almost pretty much just about his.
Oh no.
It's funny that he brought up Tupac, because I was watching the Hip Hop Evolution episode about like Tupac and Biggie and the like East Coast West Coast beef.
Yeah.
Is so interesting how Tupac went from being like this artistic, like kind of like a rebel, but like a social rebel.
Yeah.
There he is. And then the whole thing with like Big happened and he got shot and he
Yeah.
thought it was big, or like maybe it was. And then it just changed everything, and he went down this route that ended up leading to his death. So
I
it's just
think
his.
it's been hard to like be critical of our heroes, right? But like now in retrospect, do you feel like Tupac was like, I don't want to say being like a poser per se, but like how did you start, like you said, poetic, revolutionary, a social warrior, to now I'm thug life.
Well, I mean, it really just comes down to like getting into certain things. I mean, like you could get introduced to that lifestyle later on in your life, and I mean,
That's
if you
true.
have
He was
if
still
you
young.
and he yeah, and he had the means, and like he had Suge kind of like kind of like introducing him to it and stuff like that. And it was just like the timing of like how things went down. It just like set him up for like to have like all this angst in jail, and then to have Suge and like kind of guide that angst in like a certain direction. Um, it. I mean, I don't think it was poser of him, because he was always like a hothead and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and um So like, I would, yeah, I would never, I would never call Tupac a poser.
Never call Tupac a poser. I just think it's interesting that at how people are selective with their judgment, because people often will say like, "Oh, like Chris Brown is now trying to be street or whatever," when
Yeah,
he's a singer. But could that not be like the same type of situation? Like I
yeah,
started here, but this is what I'm introduced to now.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a little bit of both, man, because it is so much part of the culture and like I mean, there's so much like like drug smuggling and like money laundering and stuff that happens through
Hmm.
hip hop that like you just kind of like get into it or it gets into your situation. So I mean, I don't know, like if Justin Bieber can be hood, then anybody can.
Can he though? Negative.
I
Can
mean,
Negative.
I mean he be with people and stuff, you know,
he do be with people? That's a fact.
like I don't know, man. I just feel like once you have money, you can get into whatever you want to get into,
Yeah.
and like usually usually money is tied to like illegal activities in some way. Or from like the more money you get, the closer you get to like illegal shit. Whether it's like tax fraud or whether it's like money laundering and shit like that. And the more money that you make, the more dangerous it gets.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems.
Oh, money,
For
more
sure.
problems. Come on now. And so, speaking of that, because like I said, we got tons of history to get into, y'all. Another historic artist who still alive by the grace of God. He's still alive, of course, still making moves. And he's not just a businessman, he's a business man. You know what I mean? That's right. That's right. You already know. Mr. Jay Z, yet another 23-year anniversary in this
Oh
particular case.
wow.
It has been 23 years since Jay Z dropped his sophomore album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1. So, now, again, I know there's some ATLians in the building, so we know that Jay Z, of course, is he's a legend, he's a goat, he's amongst a lot of people's tops, things of that nature. But is this a project that ever stuck with you guys? Were you guys really feeling this project back at that time, or were you not quite on that Jay Z train yet? What were your thoughts when this album was out?
So I heard all of the Jay Z that I heard was way later. I got into Jay Z and like really like got into his old albums like once it had been out for years. So I kind of went through them all kind of in the same like few months where I was like really on a Jay Z kick. I was like, yo, this guy is like he's like the best rapper alive. Like this guy is like and I got into it and I got into all the albums and then I mean you have like Blueprint and the Black Album and and like all of these like iconic albums uh with songs that everybody has heard and that everybody like has to know. Um so I feel like especially like I don't know. There was definitely a few that I overlooked or that I listened to like one or two times through and then was kind of done with it quickly. Uh but I would definitely want to like go back and spend more time and like actually like get into his older stuff especially.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. I mean, notable songs that came from this very album: "Always Be My Sunshine," released October 14th, 1997, which is the actual year of when the actual album came out. Go figure, 1997. What a great year. "The City Is Mine," released February 3rd, 1998, and of course, "Wishing on a Star," which was March 11th, 1998. So a lot of you guys, unless you're like true hardcore Jay Z fans, may not remember how those were. But then again, this was the sophomore album, y'all. So this is album number 2 for Jay Z on what would then just go on to be one heck of a resume from this point on. Speaking of artists and resumes, we have another artist that's celebrating an anniversary of an album. A guy by the name of Wale. Ladies and gentlemen, it has
Okay,
been
Wale.
9 years, 9 years since Wale dropped his album Ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambition, 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 Ambition. To my Wale heads out there, and I know we got some in the building. What was y'all thoughts on when that album came out at that given time? Being a part of the Maybach Music gang at that time, you know what I'm saying? What are y'all thoughts on Ambition when that album dropped?
I feel like it reminds me of a time. Like I don't know. Like I definitely that wasn't an album that like I sat with and like I listened to or anything
Mhm.
like that. But I definitely remember where I was at that time and riding around and it playing in the car. So it gives me memories. It gives me a vibe. So
Clayco days.
Clay
no, I was not
Cole
in Clayco.
days. Come on now.
Not in
Uh-oh.
Clayco.
Not in Clay Cole. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna flex and try to act like I remember that album per se. Like, I like Wale as an artist, and there's definitely I if I really sat down and thought about it, there's probably a few songs that I fuck with, but I don't think I've ever really listened to like an album straight through like that. Um, which is weird. It just goes back to the fact that there's so much music out and there's so many artists. Like there's people that I'll hear that I haven't heard in a long time, and I'll be like, oh man, I've been meaning to like listen to more of them.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so I that's why I be getting on these weird kicks where I like listen to the same artist for like months.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's something. It's something. You're right because there's tons of artists out here, so a lot of times it's tough to really get on a project unless it catches a whole lot of hype, and then it's just to a point where you're like, okay, I gotta check this project out because you're hearing it on every street corner. You're hearing everybody and their mama talk about it. Must be some type of hype behind it, which we'll get into. But featured songs that were notable in this album, which did drop in 2011. Chain Music released September 2nd, 2011. Bates released September 2nd, 2011. Lotus Flower Bomb, which is probably the most notable
Mhm.
song from this very
This
album.
flow bomb.
Focused released October 18th, 2011, and Sabotage featuring Lloyd January 31st, 2012. So shouts out to Wale for Ambition and celebrating 9 years since the release of that very album. And of course, we can't forget my guy, which we talked about, and we said we would talk about this. My guy, Kendrick Lamar. It has been 8 years since Good Kid Mad City released into the streets. And man, Neen, you talked about with ambition, thinking about the times you were at that time when that album was. Good Kid, Mad City had me thinking about the times I was in when that album dropped and how Kendrick's rise just shot up so quickly. I remember hearing so much about this Kendrick Lamar guy. Like, man, you need to
Kendrick
listen
Lamar
to
guy.
Kendrick. You need to listen to Kendrick. I'm like, Kendrick, who's Kendrick? Kendrick who? You know, I'm like, and man, I ain't gonna lie, I was slow to get on the Kendrick Lamar train. I was very slow. But the crazy thing about that album is I appreciate it so much more now than I probably did then. And that's not a knock on it from then. Of course, it was like I just know that at that time I wasn't completely on Kendrick just yet back then. And so now when I listen to it recently, there was not a single song that was skippable on that album to me.
Mhm.
I felt like this album needs to be a movie right now. The way that album's constructed, I mean, sheesh, man, I can see now kind of why it has that hype amongst people of being like his best album per se. But y'all, what do y'all think?
It was the second best rap album that year, behind Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Mm,
Y'all remember that Grammy snub?
I remember
I
This was crazy. Like that was the day. That was the day that I like, cause you would watch the Grammys and like a certain album would win, and you're like, okay, yeah, that was the right choice. And then like there would be a few years where you were like, what the fuck are they doing? Like no. And then like that's where it started, where I was like, no, there's no fucking way that
how did this one?
Ryan Lewis and Macklemore's album. And then it's funny because me and my brother were actually talking about this earlier today. And then like was was it Cardi B that beat out like J. Cole?
In it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. So I feel like ever since Drake gave that speech that one time, about the Grammys, I feel like they fell off since then. Like now nobody gives it. Like people give a fuck about winning a Grammy, but like people don't give a fuck about like what the Grammys say or who the Grammys say is the best artist or what the best album was.
that.
I think that's how people feel about all of these award shows.
Oh
I think because we don't need an award show to tell us what's hot, like the proof is in the pudding. Like
yeah,
artists have a direct to consumer relationship now because of Instagram, because of SoundCloud, because of et cetera. So like I don't need you to tell me I'm good,
yeah,
you know? Which is a quick segue into something that happened recently, the BET Hip Hop Awards. There was some controversy because for Artist of the Year, Meg The Stallion won over Lil Baby, and there was some controversy of was that the correct win, or did y'all give her that win based off of the situations that's happening between her and Tory?
I feel like that's not a reason to give anybody an award. Like if she got it, it's got to be off merit, and like she did have a great year, and I guess like when you get down to awards like that, like best artist of the year, like how do you determine that? Like you either gotta go like straight by numbers, or like
The work that
otherwise it
somebody put
just
in that
becomes
year?
like, yeah, otherwise it becomes subjective. And art like is
Yeah,
naturally subjective, so it's going to be different to everybody and received differently by everybody, so there's no way to really tell like what's better or not
yeah,
unless you like go by the numbers. But then I don't know, then that's when you get the most like vanilla shit if you just go by the numbers.
yeah.
Love it, love it. You know, and that is definitely an amazing subject, Cuzzo, that you brought up, because that's something to definitely talk about on a future episode. It's a time to call it quits with these award shows. Stay tuned, y'all. You never know. We'll definitely save that for a future subject for you guys. In the meantime, but nonetheless, again,
Oh no.
Mhm.
Oh man, starting to
How
get sleepy.
how many beers have you had?
Just these two.
Oh, that's nice.
I just had to keep my mouth moist.
Moist is such an uncomfortable word.
Oh, I love the word moist.
Yeah,
I
like
feel like it's almost an onomatopoeia.
onomatopoeia.
there
Yeah,
you go.
because it sounds like what it means, like moist. You almost have to
It
like
definitely does sound
you
like
almost
what
have to drool a little bit when you say like moist. Mm.
so uncomfortable.
Tell me about it. It's almost as uncomfortable as getting cut off in the middle of a segue. But
I
hey,
mean, hey, it's fine. It
it
happens.
And then coming
happens.
back and we're like
Like,
moist.
whoa. You know what I'm saying?
Moist.
Like,
Somebody is
ooh.
passing the fuck out because you just whispered
Ooh.
moist into the microphone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, what can we say, people? This is just you just never know what happens on shows like Past the Ox. But this is what we're here for. This is why we know you missed us. We missed you too. Uh, but let's transition because we got Atlanta in the building. Yeah, I mean, More specifically, North Atlanta, baby.
Oh.
North in the building.
No.
North, North, North. You know what I'm saying? That's how we say it in the M. You know what I'm saying? North, North. But yo, let's make this an ATLian meet conversation. Now I have something that pondered to me that I would love to ask some true ATLians right here, right now. You know, major market cities always seem that have, multitude of rappers. I know in Memphis, and I'll tell you guys where this conversation kind of brewed. Um, Country Black, a member of 3 6 Mafia, was being interviewed on Vlad TV, and in Memphis with the rappers such as the Young Dolphs, the NLE Choppers, the 3 6 Mafias, and just
Gotti.
so many, like the Yo Gottis. There's this title that always goes around, this thing being called the King of Memphis, right? Who's the King of Memphis? Who's the one that's taking the whole city and just running the city right now? You know what I'm saying? And Country Black completely shut it down by basically saying, look, the real king of Memphis is DJ Paul, who is, a part of 3 6 Mafia, and just mentioning the fact that, and of course, I believe he mentioned Juicy J as well, because they also was like, well, wait, Juicy J, and he was like, hold up now, and he was basically saying, in a way, they both are the king of Memphis, the true kings of Memphis, in the sense of what they've done for the city and legitimately getting the key to the city, and just so many different things and aspects and the effect, which allowed me to think of this current subject, this meat subject, for my ATLians here. All these major market cities, LA, New York, Memphis, a Chicago, it seems like cities always, with these multitude of rappers, there's always this title of coming for this throne of who's the king of their respective city. So I ask you guys, especially being from the North Side, is there truly a king of Atlanta? Would you even say there's a king of Atlanta or a queen? Sorry, Queen of Clatchet. We can say a queen as well. I know there's Atlanta women rappers out there as well. Sorry, ladies. But just to throw this out there, would you guys? Is there? I don't recall anyone unless it's Ti, but he always said King of the South. He never really quite said King of Atlanta.
Right. I
So
think yeah.
y'all tell me, is there a king or queen
Yeah,
of Atlanta?
I think it's hands down 3 stacks. Like no questions asked. Like it's
I
gotta
mean,
be Andre. Like Andre is one of the best rappers of all times and of all time, and like probably like maybe like top five when it comes down to like all around like flow bars, like everything. Like Andre was on some crazy shit, like the kind of shit that you listen to multiple times and still like catch a new thing and say, oh yo, he said this way because he meant this also.
Yeah.
So I think as far as like somebody who's like old school kind of a thing, but also like his bars and everything will hold up like to any song that's out right now. Like the shit that he was putting out is just as good as anything that's out right now and better. So I think for me personally, I think it would be Andre.
Mm.
I like that answer a lot. I don't
Oh.
know. I think that there's little mini kingdoms in Atlanta, so we have a bunch of kings. I think off top I would say Tip because he named himself king, and he's like West Side Atlanta through and through, and he's been able to really elevate past just being like a trap rapper or whatever. Sometimes I want to say Killer Mike because even though musically maybe you don't respect him, his involvement in the community is notable. So I would say Killer Mike sometimes. Sometimes I want to say Two Chains because his swag and everything just embodies what an Atlanta dude is. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends.
Yo, two chains is definitely underrated. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I have this conversation with people like all the time, but like two chains is crazy with it. Like everything that he drops, like every verse that I've ever heard from him, if it's not like the best verse I ever heard, at least it's fucking like outlandish and crazy and fucking
Memorable.
memorable.
Yes.
Yeah, so he never you never hear a two chains verse that like something like from it doesn't stick with you. Have you guys
Yeah.
heard that quarantine thick song?
Yep.
That shit that shit is hard.
I
That shit
love Two Chains. Titty Boy, as I like to call him, but we
Titty
call
yes,
him
boy,
Two
titty
Chains too.
boy.
Titty
titty
Boy.
boy. There you
Yeah.
go. I love
Round 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 get I remember that man, titty
it.
boy.
I me riding around and getting it in my 96 Cavalier thinking that like, oh my gosh. That
That's
was a
funny.
time to be alive.
I love it. I love it. You guys. See, and this is how I know this is why I had to make this. The meat of this is definitely completely Atlanta based. So, Derek, go ahead. Call this the Atlanta Takeover. Call it the Kings of Atlanta. There's a lot of different titles you can go with, Derek, because trust me, this is Atlanta dominated at this point. Now, I must ask you this question then, because I like how my co-host here mentioned many kingdoms of some sorts. Did are these many kingdoms broken down by the areas north, south, east, west? Since we have Atlanta rappers from pretty much every region
Yeah.
of Atlanta, I mean, like, if that's the case, then if you took all of these regions and you made yourself a Mount Rushmore, I need to know your Mount Rushmore right here, right now, based off one from each region. So I need someone to be from the north, someone to be from the south, the east, and the west to make up your Mount Rushmore. Go ahead, my ATO.
Who who wants
Okay.
to go first?
Well, East Side, we gotta go Future. All right. The that is our ratchet kingdom, that is where we go to have a good time, you know what I mean? West Side between Tippin and Killer, like I said earlier. If I'm not mistaken, Two Chains is from the South Side, if I'm not mistaken. The North is, hey man, hey,
Fresco
Fresco
Phillipe, bro.
might got it. You know what I mean? I mean, who else we gonna name?
Who else
Oh,
we going?
And he said that he's the king of the North on some Jon Snow shit. So hey, he
yo,
claimed it.
no. So nah, to pick your north side person, you got to pick your favorite Migo.
My favorite
Ooh,
Migo.
your favorite Migo. There we
Hey,
go.
it's Fresco Phillipe again. Hey.
Hey, good play, my man. Good play. Good play. Good play.
Nah, but for
Either
real,
way,
who's your favorite Migo?
Offset's my favorite Migo.
Hey.
I mean,
Wow.
what he does in his marriage is his business, but when it's good. I like it. And I like the fact that he did his little breakdancing type number on the award show too, to show that he's not too cool to dance.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Offset's jiggy, man. It's
Yeah.
funny because I have these types of conversations all the time with people. And like we usually agree that like Quavo's like obviously like the swaggiest and like the hook guy, and then Takeoff has like the bars, like straight bars, like crazy bars, and then Offset's like that good combination of like taking the like swaggy like flows and like catchy hooks and shit, and like and still like throwing in like bars into it. So I mean I like Offset as well too, but man, sometimes man, Takeoff just goes off on some songs, on some verses.
Yeah.
So that he's like the people's champion, I feel like.
He's the people's champ.
And then I mean, with the other zones, the only one I could probably disagree with is like East Side gotta be Gucci. Like,
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that gotta be Gucci. That's a fact.
Shout out to
yeah.
Gucci. He just released a book, ladies and gentlemen. If you
Oh
have
yeah,
not
he
checked
Yeah,
that
did
shout
out,
out to
release a
Gucci.
make
book.
sure you go check that out. Shout out to my homegirl Erica, because if you have the book, you might want to hit up Film by Erica, because she's actually, even though she's living in LA, she is an ATLian native, okay? Living and repping out there in LA. And they are starting a book club for that very book by Gucci. So you
Oh,
still
that's
got a chance to join it.
dope.
So y'all might want to make sure y'all get that Gucci book. Hit up Filmed by Erica. That's right, on IG, Filmed by Erica. And you just say, hey, yo, it's too late to get up in the book club with Gucci, because we want to, we trying to be great. All right, that's enough for that plug. But ladies and gentlemen, yes, so Gucci. Yeah, I was
That's
wondering.
actually yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's gotta be if you're doing a Mount Rushmore of Atlanta, it's got Gucci gotta be on
mm, come
So
on.
then could like Future be his like hand of the king?
there. I mean, I was just naming my top.
He's like, I'm
Future,
not about to give you a whole kingdom. Listen, this is who the king
right?
is.
But I mean, yeah, Future is definitely he's transcendent in his own way, and he's evolved music in a big way to like what it is today. Like he him and like T Pain low key like
Yeah,
changed the auto tune game and like made everything like so different and like so groovy and introduced like like
groovy.
we wouldn't have Lil Baby today if Future wouldn't have come first and T Pain wouldn't have come first with
Yeah,
like the auto tune and like because like before you were rapping, it was like it was very like percussive flows and um like getting the melodies involved and into rap has like it's definitely changed the game.
for sure.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Now, again, I am a partial ATLian here, so I'm not too good with regions. Even though I know Gwinnett is always the North Side, of course, that's obviously
Right.
what I rep when it comes to Atlanta, because, well, pretty much grew up on the North Side. So
Hey.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to the section of Atlanta, I'm always gonna rep the North Side, because, well, that's pretty much where I grew up. So, nonetheless, I will say I noticed I didn't hear Outcast anywhere in this. I didn't hear Waka for any reason in this. Now, I hope that's not because he endorsed you know who, which will not be named, shall not be named. I hope he didn't lose any points for that, people.
We
But
we love Walker.
yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
Walker
but
Flame.
he on the south side and we were just talking about Two Chains and how like Walker's from the south side, right? I'm not tripping.
Yeah, he's from Clayco too, right? If I'm not
Um
mistaken.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Two Chains is like one of my favorite rappers. So like it would be hard for me to put Walker above him. And then I had already said like Andre like in general like
Mm-hmm.
all of Atlanta
He
and
oversees
then
everybody.
He oversees
yeah
everybody. Okay. All
yeah
right.
so
So
I mean but like Big Boy too. I mean obviously no disrespect to Big Boy
Yeah.
yeah.
because he was doing his own thing but I just feel like on the level of like artistry uh like if you get into like Grammy critics and shit like that
Come on.
um then you he was doing some crazy shit
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
even in his like recent verses like even though they come so rarely he just always fucking delivers man.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. Some more names that I noticed were not mentioned in this category of Mount Rushmore. So I didn't hear a Young Jeezy, a Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get
Damn,
to hear any
Luda.
of these names. You know what I'm saying?
This is the
Luda
No,
was
thing.
it's not coming
Luda
up.
was my first favorite rapper ever.
Yeah. I feel like this is the thing, and this is what I was thinking about earlier, and I was kind of what I touched on the fact that growing up, when I grew up here, you didn't realize how dope it was to be from Atlanta, right? Like when I was growing up, it was cool to be from everywhere else because everybody called us country. But then in retrospect, like we really were able to take the entertainment industry by the throat and have not let up, whether it be from music to now everybody's coming here for acting and for hosting, because that's the thing now. Like just different things. Like we have so much talent, you forget. You forget how many dope artists we have. Because
Yeah.
Luda is legendary, and I don't think he gets the flowers he deserves
Right.
a lot of times.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because like I was always like very defiant of like the is especially New Yorkers, man. You know how New Yorkers are.
Yeah.
And then like and they would be in class and shit. And they're like, nah, I'm not from here. I moved here. I'm from New York. It's all right, go back to New York, bro. Like
You're
nobody
here
asked me. So
Mhm.
that always gave me a very like defiant attitude about like music or anything from anywhere else. I'm like, man, we got shit here too, and like our shit is just as good, if not like better than anything that y'all are doing, and like because like there's a swag about Atlanta. Like you've got the big city, like I guess like kind of like the griminess that comes with like opportunity and growth and shit like that. Like there's always like a sketchiness that comes with that, but so you have that, and you have like the advances that you get from like big cities, and so you're like always up to date with like the latest music and shit like that, so you're doing high level shit, but then you've got that like southern swag that like I feel like nobody else has, and I feel like it is that like combination of like being country and just like just straight confidence and shit like that you get from like that like old school type of mentality. um so I was always just so like felt like Atlanta versus the world. Like even it's crazy because I wasn't born here. I mean I clearly like I moved, or my parents moved me to Atlanta when I was like a baby. Like I wasn't even one yet. So I grew up in Atlanta. Like I felt like I feel like I was born in Atlanta. Um but yeah, like I don't know, it's just I always have taken like so much pride in like being from Atlanta. Like anytime I've lived anywhere else or anything like that, and like I've been to a lot of places in the world, but like it just wasn't right. Like I would always find something where it's like not as cool as Atlanta. Like I was in Paris and I was like, yeah, but they don't got wings though. Like
They don't got lemon pepper hot.
Come
yeah.
on, man. They ain't got Chick-fil-A though.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Oh man, I love it. Y'all are giving like some real good answers. I mean, this is a very something that shoot. I'm so happy that I was able to spark this conversation because Atlanta natives, if you're listening and watching, we need to know your thoughts. Do you agree with their Mount Rushmore based off zones here, or do you have something different? I also forgot to mention Lil Jon, the king of crunk. What another
Yes.
king in his own
Yeah.
right.
Eastside
Just
Boys.
just saying, John and the East Side Boys. Like I said, we got a long, 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 long,
We have
long, long, long
kings
list.
and lords. We have so much talent. We can fill up the kingdom. We have places for everybody.
You remember
Yes.
when Lil Scrappy was the Prince of Atlanta? Oh no, he was the Prince of
Prince of
Crunk.
Crunk. He's the Prince of Crunk. He is the Prince of Crunk.
That's
There you
funny.
go. You see what I'm saying? Like so many artists, so much talent
Oh,
over the
nobody
years.
talked about Draco.
Soldier.
Soldier Boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one
You
we're
see?
missing.
You see? Soldier Boy, yet
Yeah,
another.
he's somebody's prince for sure.
There you go. And that just goes to show why this is an important and must have conversation because Atlanta continues to evolve with artistry. You
Yeah,
got dope artists like Fresco out here, man.
nah. I
Nah.
was about to say Jid.
Jid,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Black.
Yeah. Damn man. Yeah.
Six
See,
Black.
six.
See? See?
Atlanta got, man. That's crazy. It's like the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Tell me
We're
about it.
like we're like damn. That's crazy. We're like about to reach like the pinnacle of Atlanta music right now. Like we're probably in it right now, and people are gonna look back into this point in time, and it's probably gonna start with like Jeezy and like Gucci and like go into like Future and shit like that. And then you've got like Lil Baby and you got Uzi and you got wait no Uzi's not from Atlanta, right?
Yes, he
He's
is.
from
Uzi is from Atlanta, isn't
I
Who
thought
is he
he was
from
from
Atlanta? Let's settle this right now and
he? He's
find
from
that out,
like
people.
no. Childish is from like Snellville in like Decatur.
no
Childish
yeah
Gambino.
he's from Decatur Stone Mountain. Um no, I don't think he's from somewhere. But yeah, and I mean you got I think Jid is like the best like young rapper right now, and damn,
21,
but Lil
21,
Baby
21.
man, Lil Baby, oh yeah,
21,
21 man,
21,
see,
21.
21.
21,
Well,
21.
he's British, is he not? He's not.
yo,
But
No,
all
he
right,
okay, I'm
claims the
playing.
in
city
that
of
case, I'm
Atlanta.
Mexican and I'm not from Atlanta.
Come
So we
on.
have to take back that.
Yeah, so
Come
now
on.
it's got to be
Come
offset.
on.
Yeah,
Way
like
down the
Lil Uzi is from Philly.
That's right, he's from Philly.
You see? You
We
see?
just fact checked. Okay.
Just fact checked.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Nonetheless.
then you got Cardi.
Cardi reps the A?
No,
Yeah,
Cardi Playboy, right?
yeah, Playboy Cardi.
Yeah,
Hey
Playboy
boy,
Cardi.
Cardi. Wrong Cardi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, not Cardi B.
I was like, I could have sworn
Grammy
she
Award winning Cardi B.
Not Grammy
yeah,
Award winning.
not grab. Yeah, oh my. Wow.
What
You better
didn't
put some respect
didn't
on my
she
name.
win best album last year? Best rap album last year?
Gosh. I believe
Whenever
she
she
did.
put out her first album, she won.
Yeah, Invasion of Privacy.
Yeah, that was the year before last. I feel like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
See,
much time passes so fast.
it's
Isn't it?
crazy.
Past
It's been like 3 years. It's still 2020.
Right.
still 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this just goes to show again, y'all let us know who y'all got. Current, future, past, anything. Who's in your Mount Rushmore right now? If you're an Atlanta baby, that is, you got to be a Grady baby to qualify for this very, very subject. You know what I'm saying? Hence why y'all didn't hear from me because I'm not a Grady baby. However, I embrace the city because I've been in it long enough where I can tell you some stuff. But these two right here got much more longevity than I do. So therefore, they are qualified for a conversation such as this. However, now, before we call this thing a close, I want to do a little thing called an artist spotlight where we shine the spotlight on our artist of the evening, Mr. Fresco. And sir, tell the people what got you into music, those who would want to check out your music, why they should check your music out. Give them your story. Give them who Fresco Phillipe is.
Um. Okay. So I guess I really got into music just because I've always like really been into like listening to music and like digesting and dissecting songs and stuff like that. So I felt like I had a good ear for it. And then when I was introduced to like making music, like I would hear the music that other people were making. I was like, no, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. And it made me decide like, well, like if you think that you can do it, then like do it and like write a song. And like, I feel like the first song I ever wrote was like good, you know? And it was like good for the time. And it was stupid and it was like fun and it was different. But like that made me think like, man, this shit's like stupid and different. Like nobody's gonna like this. Like people like this. Like people, you got to be this type of person for people to like fuck with your music. Um, and like here and there, I would have opportunities to do it again, but it wasn't until recently that I don't know. I just like I kind of just fucking was in quarantine and I bought a mic because I had been writing some like verses down, and I was like, man, I want to record some of these. And I started making songs, and I started liking my own shit, and I was like, man, like this is like good. And then so I started showing people. Like once I got comfortable enough with it to where I liked it myself. I started showing people, and I started getting like really good reactions from it, and it's just kind of like hyped me up, and then I just kept making music that I liked. And I got to the point where like just the process of like creating something different and creating something that I would like play in my car and like jam to. I'm like, yo, this shit goes hard. Like I would listen to it even if it wasn't me. So just the process of it is so fun. And uh I feel like I'm expressing, or I'm getting something out of myself, that it just feels good to get it out of me. And then if anybody else listens to it and likes it, like that's like even cooler. Like I've had people like, like tell me like, yo, I heard your music and it's really dope. Like definitely keep going. Like when people say the words keep going, like to tell somebody to invest more time and effort into something that's traditionally so like, I guess not traditional, or like something that you don't pursue, for people to tell you to spend more time in it, like this is kind of a big commitment. So like, I don't know, I really take it as a compliment, and like to really just be having fun and expressing myself, and for people to enjoy that and to like give them some type of feeling. I think is the cool part about it. And I just think that like my personality and like the way that I think about things, and the way that I'm not afraid to say whatever's on my mind, it just kind of makes for like a interesting take on life. So if I can like kind of like get that onto a track, and really express my personality through a track, I think it's something that people will like. And then it's refreshing, man. I just feel like my music is different. It's just like it's not like, if you hear it, you're not going to hear like what you're expecting from a regular rap track. Like there's going to be some elements of it and stuff like that. But it's definitely different. Like it's not what everybody else is doing. And like, yeah, I feel like it, I don't know, like when I listen to it personally, and obviously I'm biased, but when I hear it, like it's like I'm forced to like bop to it, and then like certain parts I'm like, oh shit, and like, so like I don't know, I get, it's just different, it's refreshing, it's something that like you can get into and like get hyped just like you would about anything else, but it's different, and you can feel like, oh, like I found this guy, he's very different. He be rapping in like Spanish and shit, and like he's like, he's like from the north side of Atlanta, and like grew up in this like diverse environment and shit like that. It's like weird. I don't know. Kind of like what we were talking about Gwinnett in general, and like how there's people from all over the world, and it just provides you like these different experiences. And like the references that I make aren't references that all rappers make, because they didn't grow up with like an Indian kid that you would talk shit about Manchester United with and shit like that. It's like the kind of shit that like you fucking like have a trap house in your neighborhood, and also you have the valedictorian in your neighborhood, and then like you
That's a
have
fact.
like it's just weird. It's very different, and it's like very cool upbringing. And I just feel like the shit that I'm talking about, it's just different. It's not the shit that you're used to hearing from this type of music. And then now that I've included like Spanish into it, it definitely like if you like Spanish music and you like English music, especially right now, like that, like the top song in the world right now is Bad Bunny and Jay Cortez. Like the in the world, the number one song is in Spanish, and then obviously people have listened to American music for a long time. So I feel like it's just, I have this like kind of like huge vast like platform, that I can like pull different things from, and like kind of like different people that I can reach, that like if you like Spanish music, which clearly a lot of people do because it's the number one song in the world, like the number one artist in the world is Bad Bunny. I think J Balvin has the record for most plays on like a video on YouTube. So like it's a really like huge time for Latin music, and then you combine that with being from Atlanta, And it's like a huge time for music from Atlanta, and like you've got Latin artists from like California and New York and Miami and shit, and then you've got like rappers from Mexico and shit like that, but you don't have Latin artists from Atlanta yet. And there's a wave. I mean, there are some out there, and there's people who are like setting the groundworks for it, but I feel like there's a big boom of like bilingual music coming, especially from Atlanta.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it. That
But
is
yeah, that was my spiel.
love it. Love it. So tell me, where do you see yourself in your artistry in about say 5 years from today?
um I mean, i don't I don't know, man. Like I have no idea at all. Like really my goal is to get to the point where I'm making music, and like that's my job, like where like I can just like live life and do like hang out with my fucking kids and make music um and like create, and anything else that comes from that, like it's gravy, man. Like if I can do what I love to do and get paid for it, like that's I'm happy, man. There's so many people that don't have that in the world, that if I could just get to that point, I feel like I would be very grateful.
Here's a question. So, like, okay, we don't know where you want to be in 5 years. You just know you want to be doing something you love. You
Mhm.
mentioned earlier how you got into music because you would like dissect and like really pick apart music. So, even if you aren't on the rapping side, do you dibble and dabble inside of like producing or any of that stuff? Or,
So not really, not at all. Like I literally the first YSL, the first song that I uploaded 3 months ago. And like since then I've learned a lot uh about like recording and like not I guess I wouldn't say a lot. It's a lot compared to what I knew before, because before it was like somebody had to click the buttons for me and somebody had to do everything for me, and I would just like write and rap, like yo, like tell me when you hit play and I'm a rap. So like now, like putting out my own shit and having to like mix it and do shit like that, like I'm very slowly gaining like an elementary level like amount of knowledge for all that stuff. So I don't think I have the patience for production. Like I barely have the patience for my bare minimum ass mixing that I do on my songs. So I just like to fucking like create in that moment and like feel a vibe and capture a vibe, and then just like see what happens with it. um but I mean, I've definitely had to learn something, because you can't be putting out shit that sounds like you recorded it on your phone and shit. Although you can make some pretty good tracks on your phone nowadays, technology's pretty good.
yeah.
Love it.
That's another thing. I feel like the era of like renting studio time is like ending. Like the software and the ability to like record on a mic and a laptop, and like here, I'm gonna turn my shit to like how I record all of my music. It's this little mic right here, and I've got like a shield for it, and you can get more shit and you can get fancier than this, but like this is all that I use, that in GarageBand. And I mean, it's like when I first started listening to my music, like I couldn't hear all the like minor or all the like even major imperfections, and now that I've gotten better at it, I can hear it and I can tell the difference. But like especially like the last few tracks that, or like the tracks that are going on my mixtape, like I feel like they're very clean. And like there's like AI that mixes your music for you. That is like it's weird to say, and I don't want to be like blasphemous, but like I feel like it's gonna like take engineers out of the equation. Like if you can have a machine that makes you sound crisp and good, like whatever, you just tell it like, hey, fix this, and it does it for you. um Obviously, well, I guess you'll still have engineers for the recording process, but as far as like mastering songs and shit like that, to make sure the edges are tight and the sound is crisp and rich, I feel like that's getting so easy that people are gonna stop paying for it. They're gonna be like, I can do this shit in my house for free or for $5, as opposed to paying somebody $65 an hour to do it, and that's like on the cheap end.
Right.
So I mean, it definitely like gives you more opportunity to create and gives more people the opportunity to create, which I think is just gonna kind of like really sharpen like the people who make it are gonna be people that like are really fucking talented.
Love it. That's the truth. And you hear it, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, this is Fresco Felipe. And of course,
Go Philippe.
Felipe. See, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like
I'm the
like
Prince
a
of Botch.
paddock.
I'm the Prince of Botch. So I tend to botch names, botch phrases, botch
I messed it
words.
up too.
That's
They're
what I
minor.
do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
it's
still,
cool. It's cool.
nonetheless, really quickly, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, how they can listen to you, and keep up with your journey as you continue to grow as an artist.
And when is the mixtape dropping?
Hmm.
So my goal was to drop the mixtape 11/11. And I've pretty much got it like all wrapped up, but I want to get it into the distributor with enough time to be able to pitch it to playlists and stuff like that. So like people can like have time to listen to it and see if they want to put it on any of the playlists. Um, so I don't think I'm gonna make that timeline. I definitely want to get it done in November, and it's so close. Like I've just been putting in work, like tweaking songs and shit like that, like the last like few weeks. And I it's definitely coming soon, and like I don't want to like make it seem like I'm trying to build anticipation because it's like nobody's waiting for my fucking mixtape to drop.
I am.
Nah, but like
Got two right here.
yeah, but yeah, so I'm just trying to get it done as fast as possible. And like yesterday I was mixing all day and all night, and like I got to a point where I had to like step away and do something different, and I like made a brand new song from scratch and like listened to a new beat and wrote to it and shit like that, to kind of like escape from like the tediousness of like perfecting songs. I just made a song, and I was able to like I actually dropped it while I thought that I was waiting on you guys when you guys were waiting on me. Um yeah, so that's called what is it called? Hold on, give me one second. It's called For Keeps.
Mhm.
Um and it's funny because a friend, I like caught it in their IG story. Like there a girl in the story, they were toasting, and the girl was doing the toast, and then he was like, and we still play For Keeps. And like it was when I was writing in that moment. So then I was like playing For Keeps, and then I made a hook, and like I literally like wrote and recorded that song in like an hour last night. And then today I just tweaked it a little bit, and I dropped it. But like that shit was like a spur of the moment, like very vibey kind of song. And it's the first verse is in English and the second verse is in Spanish. So like if y'all want to hear some bilingual shit, like that's out now.
Lit. Is it out on SoundCloud? It's out on Apple.
Yeah,
Where?
SoundCloud. And then
Okay.
so my IG is at fresco.philippe, Phillipe. And then I've got the link in bio, and that's my link tree to my SoundCloud and my Spotify and Apple Music and TikTok also. But yeah, so like I definitely drop a lot more music on Spotify, and it's shit that like to me like is I guess it's kind of like my throwaways, even though like I like the music, but it's just things that I'm making quickly and just putting it out there, and it doesn't sound super like ready for like mainstream music or like shit that everybody can listen to and digest and enjoy. But definitely if you're into like more like off the beaten path music, like the songs that I have on there are interesting and different. But yeah, so like if you want to hear all my music, it's on SoundCloud. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, all right. Well, again, Fresco Philippe.
Philippe, yes, it's
We
French.
thank you so much for joining us on Past the Ox. And of course, this is that part of the show where like the famous Dave Chappelle skit, it's time to wrap it up. Wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't see the button, but we see the button. And we know it's time to wrap it up. So, Cuzzo, co-host Clear Clatchet, go ahead and tell the people, where can they find you?
You can find me on the OTS YouTube page, of course, where we post all of our amazing videos for Past the Ox, for our, do we call it a sister show, a baby show, sideline show, plugged in?
Kind of like a little baby sister
A
show.
little baby sister show plugged in, as well as all of the other OTS shows. Personal Instagram is Nina Soul. Nina is with 2 eyes. And my other podcast, What Did I Think About This Week, available on all podcast platforms, shameless plug. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
What did I think about this week? Yet a show that also Fresco Phillipe is featured on. So make sure.
Check out that episode.
It's pretty much just like this conversation that we had today. So if you don't feel like listening to it, you don't have to.
It's not the same.
I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. We need them streams, baby. We need them plays.
We need them plays, baby. We need them plays.
Nah, we do it for the art.
We do it for the art. Do it for the culture. Do it for the art, baby. And y'all already know. Follow your boy on Instagram at Dwayne Dickey Jr. That is my hosting page. You can follow my artist page as well, because much like our guest, your boy is an artist, as you already know, if you don't know already. So you can follow that if you would like at Highlight Life, HILITE Life. That is Highlights Life on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, yeah, all things on Spotify. I mean, hey, man, the God EP is out. Like I said, we said it earlier in the What's in Your Ear segment. Y'all keep streaming that. Go out there and listen to it. It's on all the platforms, everywhere, every shape and form. And of course, also got to say, shout out to the people that's been checking us out, listening to us, and rocking with us day in, day out, weekend, start to finish, all of that. All right. So Spotifyans out there on Spotify, you already know what to do. Make sure if you like what you heard, if you've been rocking with the show, make sure you hit that follow button. You already know. YouTubers, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell for when shows like this drop, plugged in, which we try to drop for y'all on a want basis, you know what I'm saying? Kind of hitting you with the combos like that and everything else that comes on the sidelines OTS YouTube page. Make sure you hit that subscription. So it's very important. We need you. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. So we need your help to get there so we can make that custom URL for you guys to find us a lot easier on that. But in the meantime, if you're wondering, how do we find you? If you're not already watching, just go to www.otsguys.com and you will find all of what you need to find for finding us and all that good stuff. And of course, like I said, Apple Podcasts, didn't forget about you guys either. Make sure you leave those 5-star ratings. Make sure you leave those comments. Let us know what you think of the show, what you think of the host, what you think of us, who you are, so we can shout you out on the next episode of Past the Ox. And yeah. Oh, Six Families Radio. Can't forget about you guys as well. Thank you guys for tuning in and always listening live so faithfully the way that you do. So without further ado, well, I think it's time to hit some background music.
That ain't it.
That ain't it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how we do. It's time to
highlight through your
yeah, and we just gonna let y'all know, people, we thank you so much for vibing with us, riding with us, rocking with us, and well, you know the rest of that stuff, and that's pretty much it. But as all good things come to an end, it's time to let that hair down, as you see my co-host doing now. Letting it down, letting it wild, let it fly. That mane's going, baby. You already know what it is. These dreadlocks about to get put out. So y'all might see your boy Frode out next week. Nonetheless, I would like to thank y'all tuning in, and until next time, peace.